kind is a phrase that you hear being said to young children quite often. Whether it be when they're playing with their friends, their siblings, or just interacting with other people, we would hope that children are kind to one another. That said, having to be kind all the time may not be a realistic expectation to have on young children, or even ourselves. Let's think back to when we were children, and how this message of being kind was communicated to us, and how we felt about it. How do we engage with it? Picture this. There's a child in your class that is quite kind. They interact pro-socially with the other children, they're helpful, they're mindful of the other children, and your overall impression of them is a positive one. When you see that other children are facing challenges, you often ask this child to help out, because you know this child has it within them to be mindful and ultimately to be kind. Then one day, you notice that a change happens with this child. They are no longer this kind and helpful person all the time, but there are small outbursts of being unkind, being unhelpful, and just being opposite from who you've known them to be. Let's think for a second of what might be going on in this child's mind. Why do you think that there's this change that has happened? It's quite common for us to ask children and even ourselves to be kind people. From a very young age, we're taught that being unkind is not the way to be, and it's not helpful for our relationships with other people. The thing is, being kind and having that expectation on ourselves can end up putting a lot of pressure on who we are and how we interact with other people. If we're honest, there are certain situations where we just aren't kind, or we can't be kind, or it's very difficult for us to be kind. There are underlying emotions and aspects of what's going on that are impacting us, inhibiting us to be kind. And so, when this expectation of being kind is once again put on ourselves, then it almost invalidates our emotions and the underlying aspects of what's going on that we may need the space to work through. Now, if you remember from the first few weeks of this journey, we talked about things like the competent child, the image of the child. All of these ideas and theories are there to help us to understand that children are actually capable of understanding what's going on, as long as we give them the space, give them the time to process through it. When we put them in this box of needing to be kind, then they aren't given the space to work through other emotions, other aspects of themselves that may be counter to what it means to being kind. When children are stuck in this box, the overwhelming pressure causes them to lash out and act in ways that are counter to what this box tells them, because they can't handle it anymore, and ultimately, it's not fair for them. This isn't to say that being kind is not right, or even expecting children to be kind is not right. Rather, it's important to give children the space to understand what it means to be kind and how they can be kind, and to really take ownership of what it means for them, in themselves, to be kind to others around them. If children aren't given the space to work through their emotions, to work through how they're feeling, then we're taking away the opportunities from them to understand for themselves what it means for them to be kind. As children are given this space, then something miraculous happens where they can interact with people in ways that are unique to themselves, that they can have confidence in doing. And most of all, they can do it with an awareness of not only being mindful of the other person, but really themselves, their limits, their boundaries, Children then go from being stuck within this pressure to then having this freedom to engage in ways that they know that they know that they can strive in, and they know that they have the space to question and think through. This then helps them to continue this journey as they watch, think,